until it's physically manifest in your life. So, thanks, my friends.
Thank you so much. What a story. Can you imagine growing up with that childhood programming? So I'm really glad that you mentioned that, the affirmations are not enough, because it's absolutely true, right? So with this card, what you want to do is put it next to your bathroom mirror and brush your teeth. And every time you brush your teeth, with that 2 minutes that you have, read it back to front every day, because it's a daily practice. But what's important to understand is that in the acceptance process, just like you had to accept that, these beliefs were affecting you, they were limiting your prosperity, there is deeper work. And a couple of years ago, when I wrote this book with Joanna Andros, who's my partner in Courageous Living, we also published a new type of therapy called progressive neural resolution therapy. And like an EFT, or like some of the things that you've seen now with the movement of the eyes, there are many different ways to program the mind. But this particular method actually helps you go in and find that neuronal program, that inner child that has been wounded back in the time as a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, an 8-year-old. And the therapist that you work with leads your conscious mind into the subconscious mind so that it can go in and release that pattern, heal that child, rescue you from that situation that you've been wounded from, and then move you back into new neuronal programming. So you're right, it's not just the affirmations. I know that many of you understand that. But the key is to understand what's been limiting you. So just like, you started to recognize where your prosperity limitations were, our goal when we walk out of here is to start listening to the negative inner chatter and start writing down what specifically our issue is, so that we can understand what we need to start to transform. So what I'd like you to do, actually, because we've got just a few more minutes, how many of you have a piece of paper or something to write on? Okay, great. So if you have a paper, or if you have notes on your phone, okay, visualization in your mind, perfect. No, I'm going to give you something more positive to write down. So yeah, so flip it to, I guess it's not, it doesn't have blank paper like it did yesterday. Okay, so find an area that you've got some paper to write on. So let's get nice and connected to yourselves. Thank you so much for sharing. There you go. When one woman has, everyone gets, right? So let's take a nice deep breath in. Let's take a moment now to give yourselves a new horizon to move forward to. One of the things I find with women is they get very overwhelmed with where they are now, and then they start thinking, there's something I want for myself in the future, but I'm not sure what it is. And so that we're constantly moving towards something that lacks clarity. How many of you this year have a clearly written set of goals or a vision for the end of 2016 that's actually written down? Good for you. But look around the room. That's less than 10% of us, right? So it's important now to consider that what you want to do as a way of also guiding your brain towards what you want, towards change, is to create a new vision for yourself. That's the first step in the mentor circle anyway, right? So let's take a few minutes while we're still together and create a new vision for what you want, so that you can start to tell your brain, this is the new place that we are traveling to. When you set that goal for yourself, as you start moving forward, that's when you can start to notice what might be stopping you, right? Because as you move towards, so let's say we're going from here to New York, and we know that New York is our destination. And so as we start traveling, that's when we start to look at all the different blocks in construction. What roads are not open to us? But until you have a clear idea of your destination, you're sort of just moving along, bumping into things, not recognizing what's happening, hoping for karma to create what's best in your life, right? So let's take a deep breath in. And those of you who are goal-oriented, that have created a vision for yourselves, this is your time to upgrade it, or to get deeper with it, or to check in with your authentic self to find out, does it really still resonate with you? So we'd like you to write down what's called the end in mind. It's December 31st, 2016.